Oh, whoa, when I found out. Are you ready, Natasha? Yes, I'm ready for the show. I'm so happy to hear that this morning. How about this one? I thought that my home was my castle, with no one scrutinizing me. No cops, no lion wife, no hassle. Y'all are brutalizing me. Can't a man not drink his beer in silence? Can't a man not crudely lie and scream? Can't a man not control his wife with violence? Y'all are brutalizing me. Y'all are brutalizing me. Y'all are brutalizing me. Nah. Okay, hey, BOOZHOO. Welcome back to the musical of, what was that show? Run, Ronnie, Run. BOOZHOO. Hey, Jessica's here already. BOOZHOO, Jessica. How you doing? I can't even see the comments. Y'all are Mino Giga Jabe. Mino Giga Jabe, my dear. Jessica's here, sweetie. Oh, tell her I said hi. Natasha says, BOOZHOO. So yeah, today is Ojibwe word of the day, Migazi. You want to see a cartoon that Michael drew? This is Migazi, the eagle. Eagle. Migazi. Migizi. Migazi. However you pronounce that. The eagle is a sacred, creature. But then you can kind of say that about it, about any of the animals. Oh, the beaver is sacred to the Anishinaabe. We are, like everything's sacred then, so what's not? Jim Dunn is here. BOOZHOO, Jim! Natasha says, BOOZHOO, Jim. BOOZHOO says, BOOZHOO, Jim says I think he's saying it's snowing. It snowed here last night. It was really quite some storm, huh, honey? Yeah, you gonna shovel the driveway out? Yeah, I suppose they'll do that after the show. Get out there and shovel some of that snow. So how you doing, Jim? Welcome back to the show. We were just talking about the eagle. Because the eagle is the symbol of, they say the eagle carries the prayers of the people. That's why you got to put out your tobacco when you see it. You're not really giving the eagle tobacco. You're giving your prayer to the eagle to give to Gitche Manadu. They sometimes say that about the smoke too. They say, oh yeah, make sure you smudge down because that'll purify everything. But then, smoke your pipe because your prayers will go up in the smoke. I guess Gitche Manadu doesn't have, email. So yeah, BOOZHOO. Today is Anima E Gijagud. It is the prayer day. You think we should start with a prayer, sweetie? I suppose you feel like giving one. Oh, I don't know. I could. All right. Well, Grieving Turtle is here. BOOZHOO, Grieving Turtle. Hello, Nimish. Why can't I say that? Nimasay. Hello, my sister. The eagle is a symbol of a good golfer. 2 under par on a hole. 2 under par on a hole. 2 under par on a hole. It's a symbol of a good golfer. Is that right? That sounds like a joke that I don't get. You know what the eagle is? It's a sign of a good golfer. You know, I've never gone golfing. Yeah, I know. How come? I never wanted to pay the money. I grew up where sports are free. And so someone was like, hey, yeah, let's go golfing. Well, oh, sure, okay. You got some golf clubs I can use? I'm like, what? You don't own your golf clubs. Well, you got to go buy golf clubs. That'll be hundreds of dollars. And then we're going to go to a place where they charge you. Are you a member? Like a member. No, I'm not a member of the baseball diamond either. And let's just go play. But no. So I never had the money or really the opportunity. My friends never golfed. I had one friend who was a great golfer, actually. Oh, Paul Octor. Remember Paul? Oh, yeah, of course I know Paul. Yeah. I had a friend who was like 6'6". And he weighed 85 pounds, I think. 85 or 86 pounds. Big, tall, skinny guy. And everybody would always be like, oh, do you play basketball? He'd be like, no, man, I'm a golfer. I'm like, golf? Why are you wasting being 6'6" on golf? Can you even golf when you're like that tall? Do you have to bend way over? And he's like, man, that's a stereotype. Why is it okay to stereotype tall people? You know? Just because you're tall doesn't mean you play basketball. You know? I wonder if black people go through that. Hey, man, do you play basketball? What? Why are you asking me that? Oh, I don't know. I just assumed. You know? That's a compliment. I assume you're good at something. You know, just because you're tall. But Paul grew up by a golf course. So he was always golfing, you know. And I think he worked at the golf. He was like one of the kids who would mow it all the time, you know. So he became a good golfer. But I've always stayed kind of close-minded about golfing. I don't know. I don't want to go out there and be the one really bad golfer around a bunch of good golfers. So Jim Dunn says, birdie 1 under. And then he's got a little guy golfing, and then Prince, and then a heart. And then Grieving Turtle says, I made a mistake about the 49th element. It's not Indian. Oh, see, that's why I didn't understand it. I thought, I know about indium. I never heard of that either. We were talking about the periodic tables of the elements and how every high school class has that poster. Like they're going to be referring to it on a daily basis. You know what? Kids have gotten so dumb. Have you guys noticed this? When I was in school, like the first sort of math homework was that you had to memorize your times tables. Go home, write them out, make cue cards. We'd have little contests, you know. It'd be like a game show in the 3rd grade. We'd be like, what's 5 times 5? 25. All right, up next, who dares go against the mighty whoever. And so then, by 3rd or 4th grade, you could just rattle off every times table, up to 10. It got kind of fuzzy after 10. It'd be like, what, 11 times 11? 121, I think. 12 times 12, 144. It's 11 times 12, 130. But now every kid has that little sheet of paper, the little cheat sheet, and has their math. Or they'll have it right on the wall. They're like, okay, kids, look at the wall if you need to multiply 6 times 5. Because there's no way we can expect you to memorize that. And then, teachers are so dumb. They come up with new math. And they're like, all right, let's come up with a new way of teaching the mathematic, division, multiplication, the stuff you actually need to know in life, unlike the periodic tables. They come up with a new way where kids have to look at their fingers and they're like, When I was a kid, counting on your fingers was sort of like, reading to yourself, but your lips would still move. It's like, come on, man, get it together. Come on, man. That's my Joe Biden. Come on, man. Come on, man. Just want to rub your shoulders a little bit. No, that's George Bush. We're going to get them terrorists. Anyway, so, yeah, that's me rattling off Migazy. But you know what else? Migazy is actually the symbol of love. Zaga iriwen. Zaga iriwen. Gizaga in. I love you. Zaga iriwen. The condition of love. Love. Love is so hard. Love is so hard to find. When love, such an easy thing. Such an easy thing. Such an easy thing to lose. Yeah. Have you ever had your heart broken? Oh, we got a nice compliment on that song, Natasha. Really? What'd they say? They wrote in and they were like, oh, thank you for sharing that song. And who was it? It was somebody here from the BOOZHOO crew. They found the old Ishii video of the Natasha. And they wrote in, they were like, oh, I love that song. Thank you for sharing it. I think Michael shared this story, didn't you? I don't remember. I can't remember. So I was thinking maybe Jessica, Jessica, was it you? Jessica, you had said in the past stream that eagles don't make you think about love. But what about what they lock talons and free fall together? That looks like love to me. Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a good symbol for the danger of love. You get entangled with somebody. So what Jessica is talking about there is when eagles mate, they get locked up and they start swirling around. And so the clock's ticking, you know. The boy eagle has to get his, he's got a wham bam thank you ma'am before he hits the ground. So, yeah, against all odds. And so, it was Jessica. Jessica, thank you for complimenting our song. So Michael wrote a song about a girl who broke his heart. That's not fair, is it? You broke your own heart by dumping her. And so I was going to share a drawing he did. Do you mind if I share this drawing? No, go ahead. All right. So that song was about a girl named Natasha. Isn't that a weird coincidence? Michael had a girlfriend named Natasha too. So here's Natasha. And it's been many, many years ago. And so Michael broke up with her. And then, wanted a do-over, wanted to take back. But you can't take back when you break up with somebody. They move on. And so he was all like, I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. Now you're my one and my only regret. Oh, Michael. Do you want to talk about Jennifer? Why don't you talk about Jennifer? Okay. So this beauty is Natasha. And Michael had a short, very intense relationship with this young girl. She was from Bangladesh. And she was everything he ever wanted in a girl. Didn't she remind you of that, who did you always say you thought she was like? She kind of reminded me of the girl in Jungle Book, at the end where, oh yeah, that chick who comes up from the, I'm gathering water for father or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of like something was planted in your head very young. So she was an exotic international girl. And, but she lived in England for a long time, so she had a little bit of an English accent. It was kind of a mix between, Apu from The Simpsons and somebody English. And, but that was after his big romance with Jennifer. Oh, I gotta say, Michael, you sure know how to get the cute ones. So Jennifer was Michael's college girlfriend. And you guys lived together for how long? Like 3 years. Yeah. And so the song Michael wrote about Jennifer was the Never Coming Back Here Again. I'm never coming back here again. This is it now, this is the end. Tomorrow I'll say we can still be friends, but I'm never coming back here again. That was the breakup. Did you dump her or did she dump you? Well, I pulled the final, I said it finally, but she moved away, so she kind of dumped me. Yeah. She dumped you by moving on with her life. She just didn't file the paperwork. But what do you think now that you've loved and lost? Was it worth it? Would you do it again? Yeah, of course. I would. They're your most important relationships, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Love is so hard. So okay, ladies. I wish forgetting you was so easy. Nah. Let's look at some messages. So, M. Jamski is here. He says, hi. Bonjour, M. James. Daniel Muckaday is here. How can I tell you what's going on if they tell me my message is too long? Hi, everybody. Did they censor you? Man, what about freedom of speech, Daniel? I want to read what you have to say. Grieving Turtle says, it's 200 letters max. You're going to have to condense your topic. Daniel says, Migazy, my clan, my life. Hoa. Daniel's from Migazy, Dodam. He's from the Eagle clan. Aren't you guys the leaders too? Migazy clan likes to boss around everybody. Let's see. Jessica says, hey, Daniel, I feel that frustration. And Daniel says, cheers to Jessica. Jessica says, Michael, is Ishi still a band? Not anymore. I think we broke up. Boy, it's probably been going on maybe 3 or 4 years now. I don't know, it just sort of ran its course in a weird way. Like, Michael quit drinking, and, I don't know. It was weird how that set kind of fizzled out. Like, I'm not saying we'll never record together again, we're still friends. But, and you got nothing but good memories, right? Oh, yeah, I love those guys. Yeah. So there could be a time. It was weird. I guess when this show started, it's been probably 3 years. Because remember when you asked them if they wanted to get puppets and do a TV show where the whole band were, like us? Wouldn't that be cool if we had like, I don't know, a show kind of like the Partridge Family or something? And we could write songs and everybody would be like real musicians, but then we'd do this together. I don't know. Hey, Ishi, Joel, if you're watching this, why don't you join our crew? Joel was the drummer. So yeah, no, we're not a band anymore. And really, like we played probably once a month for a few years. 90% of the time at the same bar, the Big Tap in Cass Lake. And this was a really cool bar because they had this backyard area. And most of the time it was way too cold, so we'd play indoors. But they served dinner and stuff there. And Joel, our drummer, was like on their softball team and grew up in Cass Lake, and everybody loved him. And they all have like 3 nicknames. I had the hardest time remembering people's names because they called Joel something different every time. Hey, Soggy, was one of them. But here's the story about Ishi. So when I was a little kid, there was a band that were friends of my grandma's, the Smith Indian family. And what was Joel's dad's name? Ray Smith. Ray Smith was a like kind of a missionary. He was like one of the original Indian Christian missionary guys, and he had a band that would play Christian rock and country, I guess. And they'd travel around the country, going to different churches and schools and whatnot, singing songs and they had like 3 albums. And so when I was a little kid, I was always listening to my parents' record collection. We'd have, the Bee Gees and Elvis Presley and, whoever. And then the Smith Indian Family, a record right there. And so I didn't really understand when I was young. I thought they were just as famous as Michael Jackson, And so Joel was just like a year or 2 older than me. He was like their little young drummer. Like when he was, I don't know, like in elementary school, he started drumming professionally for his band, his family band, and they toured around. And then he grew up and he went to college, became a big shot with the BIA or something. And then he went to work for the tribe and all that. And our family stayed really close. Eventually, he would marry my cousin, just a buddy of mine. And he played drums with my other cousin, Eric, And so that line of, are you family or friend? We kind of forget. So, I love this guy. And so then I was lucky enough just to start jamming with him, and we recorded an album. And we were just sort of, playing these original songs, and then we had to fill up, 4 hours of playing music. And when you play a bar gig, everyone's like, oh wow, you guys made $500. That's a lot. You're like, well, yeah, but we also had to work for 5 hours, 6 hours. But so we learned all these cover songs. Songs that sounded good with drums and bass and acoustic guitar. And then, that video we recorded for Natasha was all just footage taken from a cell phone during a recording session. And, we had this glorious 2-day recording session at the studio in Bemidji. And it was at this guy's house. But it was like a professional studio. And it was just so much fun. So those songs have like double meaning. There's the meaning of when I wrote them and what they're about. And then there's the history of when we recorded them and the story that just the experience of all of us in that band together making something. So yeah. Let's see, we've got here. Christine Berry's here, sweetie. Hi, Christine. Natasha would like to greet you this morning, Christine. She says hello. And Christine says, BOOZHOO. Daniel says, yep. Daniel says, got my name checked, so I'm happy. But I'm going to love you and leave you. We'll play catch up later. You're just like all the women in my life. Love me and leave me. Well, go ahead then. See if I care. You'll be sorry someday. Someday I'm going to be famous on YouTube. What's YouTube? Well, it hasn't been invented yet. But boy, you're going to be sorry. You're going to go, how did I let that one go? No. So, yeah. Love. Zaga 80 win. I still haven't said a prayer yet. All right. This is prayer for prayer day. In OJIBWE Moan. Gitche manadu. Daga we duka wishin. Ando minawe nungum. Great Spirit, please help me to speak well today. Miigwech ka iji katkina gegu. Miigwech ka iji chikea nungum. Miigwech ka iji webak. Miigwech ka iji giguk. Kijikuk, I mean. And miigwech bamadazi yan. Great Spirit, thank you for everything that you do today. Thank you for the weather. Thank you for my life. And, miigwech bizandawayeg. Thank you for listening. Ape inge. Amen. 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 Ape inge. Ape inge. Ape inge. Amen. Or a woman. I hear they're going to change the name of Hershey's to him, his. That ain't right. That's sexist. Hershey's. Why is it got to be her and she? It should be him and his. His and, I don't know. A woman. Oh, Heavenly Father or Mother. And you don't know. Why does God have to be a man? It's just the same stuff being kind of, recycled every couple of years. They trade off, This year it's going to be racism. Next year it'll be sexism. How come? I don't know. Grieving Turtle says, Ishi means Jesse in Hebrew. Oh, interesting. Very famous root system in the Bible. No kidding. We kind of took it from the old Ishi. I once, elder told me, he goes, that term Ish, that's an Ojibwe word. I went, what do you mean? I know I hear it in Ojibwe women, I was going, oh, ick. Not even. But he goes, yeah, how like in the language, if I called this, like say my drum here, Dawaiigan, neat Dawaiigan. I wouldn't call it my drum. I'd call it my old drum. I'd call it, it's just my old drum. It's not a very special drum, because the Anishinaabe also, and so to make something kind of, humble, you would add an ish. This is my Dawaiigunish. It's a Dawaiigunish. I'll be there 7-ish. And so then he was saying, oh yeah, that's why I've been people in English. And they go, oh, ish. For something that's not that great. Ish. And how's that food? Ish. But I don't know. Those elders are always taking credit for everything. Indians invented basketball. Oh, really? Okay. It was Dishwalla. Jessica says, remember that 90s song? Tell me your thoughts on God, because I'd really like to meet her. Oh, yeah. I think Prince wrote that song. What if God... No, that's what if God was one of us. Tell me all your thoughts on God, because I'd really like to meet her. Doesn't he also say something like, because I'm on my way to meet her? I think it's about dying. About somebody in his last hours, like so many elders who get like super religious when they, they have their 85th birthday and they're like, oh, wow. You know what? I never paid attention, but I better get my ducks in a row just in case those guys are right. Gonna be a last minute religious person. Yeah. Our mother who art is in the kitchen. Grieving Turtle writes, our mother whose art is in the kitchen. Oh, there you go. That's even better. It was Dishwalla. Oh, that was the name of the band, huh? Dishwalla. Because I'm on my way. There's that Prince tune that Joan Osborne recorded. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home. Yeah, what if God was one of us? Isn't that the whole whole point of Jesus? God wanted to come down and be one of us. And, for some reason he couldn't just magically, make himself an avatar and come down. He had to be birthed. And so he came to earth as a skinny Jew. Grieving Turtle says, GD is tribe of Israelite that behaved like the Minnesota Vikings and had to be scattered. But not many will admit that. Their stone is a jacinth. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you know what? It's weird. I mean, except for the fact we named our football team after the Vikings. The Vikings don't get much historical credit. There's one really bad stereotype about all Viking explorers. They did two things. And the second thing was pillage. And I don't know. How would you like to be the descendants of somebody who, every time somebody mentions their name, they have to bring that up? I mean, was that really the main thing that Vikings were about? Because, who's this Leif Erikson? On one hand, they want to tell the story of history being, oh, yeah, Columbus came and then blah, 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 French fur traders, then the English. But it's like, wait a second, what about these Norwegian guys who came over here like 400 years before Columbus? What, just because they didn't stay, we don't count that as being the original non-Indians here? And why do we always gotta divide everything by race? So did the Chinese never explore at any point? Don't they have boats? I don't know, man. GD is pronounced God. Oh, got it. God. You mean Yahweh? They keep on changing God's name too. I've heard recently that they go, Jesus' real name was Yeshua. Yeshua. I'm like, what? So my whole life, grandmother's life, spent in, biblical study, and it was never revealed to her. But now, we remembered the real name? Okay. What's he want to be called? How come there's so many holes in the Jesus story? Well, he wasn't really born in December. You can tell from the shepherds or something. Grieving Turtle says, as the Canadians say, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's another one. Yeah, sure, you betcha. Maybe that's what they're saying. They're saying, for get you money to, yeah. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, it's not easy to be a native and to not follow the traditional way. People are very tolerant of non-Christian natives. But if you're a Bible-thumping, believing, sometimes you get sideways looks from the traditionals going, come on, man. You just took that whole boarding school thing hook, line, and sinker, didn't you? But it's also the dirty little secret is that, behind every American Indian movement warrior is a good Christian grandma. Most of the boarding school survivors became, pretty devout evangelical types, So Jessica says, Yahovah instead of Yahovah, Yahovah, Joha. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Even up rather than not even. Even up. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. I sometimes think even religions have been, I don't know what the word is, subverted, grabbled. There is a God, and there is a moral code to the universe, and there is life after death, and we do have a soul, You know, you don't need to take my word for it. Just, check it out for yourself. Really feel inside. Are you being, are you a robot, or is there something spiritual inside you? I mean, I say that now like it's obvious, but it took me many years of going back and forth, going, okay, wait a second. What if we are just, an evolved ape, there is no evidence of a soul. They just made that up. But then I'd be like, yeah, but, what is that thing where all your feelings come from? What is that thing that makes you fall in love, that compels you? Where do good ideas, funny jokes, music, where does singing come from? You've got endless possibility. Here's one thing about singing, when I write a song. You can stumble upon 3 chords that sound kind of cool together. And, you can write a poem, that follows rhyme scheme and the same line length and stuff. But then there's that spontaneous moment of when you open your mouth and you go, I never meant one word. I never meant one word. Never meant one word. And I don't know, where does that come from? Is it just an amalgamation of other songs I've heard? Or was I connecting to something spiritual? I think that's where your evidence of a spirit is. And certain songs will tug. And you ever fall in love with somebody because they sing well? I wrote in my journal once that I was in love with Beth Orton. Don't know who she is? Yeah, why would you? Some girl on the internet, no offense, sweetie. Oh yeah, that's fine. Was singing Ooh Child at some school event. It was just a raw footage of this girl singing a really sad version of Ooh Child. And it connected with me. Fell in love with her. She didn't even write the song. And check out the, speaking of Natasha, I won't get her picture up. The 5 stair steps. You guys know that song. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things are gonna be brighter. The original band that wrote that song were the 5 stair steps. And their singer is so beautiful. She's like half Indian, half black. And, I remember I was obsessed with that video for a week. So gorgeous. And she's probably 70 now. I wonder if she's still beautiful. But, and she kind of looked like Natasha. So, soul. If there's a soul, then everything's back on the table. Then that means you might have a chance to live after the material world. So quit your crying about everyone you've lost. They're having a huge feast and party in heaven. Oh, my best friend died. Yeah, well, you're going to die someday too. Listen to me. It's all right. And this has been your church service for today. Daniel's going off for a walk with his daughter later. Nagaj. Later. Gigawabamin, Minowa. I'll see you again. Grieving Turtle says, Ms. Gonzalez, do you have an animal you connect with best? She's talking to Jessica. I lost a lot of my worst enemies too. Yeah. Sometimes, there's an upside to all this too. We're going to get dark. All right. Well, hey, Michael, you want to come on and say hello to the people? Sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Lyons. Okay. Let's go. Hello, everybody. Let's see if I can do this. How are you? Good morning. Happy prayer day. Mino anima e gisha good, I guess. And so Grieving Turtle asked a lot of her worst enemies. So yeah, Natasha and Jennifer. The one thing I can really say about these two is inspiration for a lot of songs. And a lot of artwork, actually. So Natasha was a girl I dated when I was like 29. And Jennifer, I think we broke up. We broke up the same year Eric Carr of Kiss died. Whatever that was. 91 or something. I don't think you guys know about Eric Carr. Sunny day. But today, oh, check this out. I forgot I had this. Here's the Lord's Prayer in Ojibwe, but we already prayed. Sermon on the Mount. That was all from last week. This is sort of cute. It's a picture of us. How you guys doing? Tomorrow I have to have a test meeting with the Telegami people, the people from the Telegami Reserve in Bear Island, Ontario. And it should look something like this. But then on Thursday, which will be my birthday actually, we're having a gig in the evening, a virtual gig like this, where I'll be a guest speaker and a storyteller. And I have to decide if I'm going to... Actually, they requested that I talk about bullying. We did a video for them a while ago where NanaBOOZHOO and Natasha talk about bullying. This is for a school too, and these are little kids. So I have to make sure I don't talk too much about death and politics. But we did a video a while ago where I bully Natasha, and it's pretty hilarious because she'll be all earnest and BOOZHOO, welcome to the show, and I'll be like, welcome to the show. So I have to be ready to kind of do a skit where I'm just the jerk in it. Let's see what else we got here. Off for a walk. Grieving Turtle is sunglasses and coffee. How many people we got watching? 7 people watching and 17 playbacks. By YouTube standards, it's very modest. I watch these, all the other videos I watch, thousands of views. And there's some really good podcasts out there. I've learned a lot. But what's really exciting about this podcast, and I promise I won't just do meta commentary on what the NanaBOOZHOO show is, and we'll just do a show. But last month, we got twice as many subscribers than we had the previous month. And we sold 4 times the amount of books that we had sold the previous month. And I'm barely keeping track of this, but it's the total amount is still very modest. Like did we get, I want to say we get like 2 or 3 new subscribers a day. And I'll watch other videos and the guy will be like, make sure you subscribe and share. We're being shadow banned. And you'll look and there'll be like 400,000 views. I'm like, if they're banning you, they're doing a terrible job of it. Jessica says, don't talk about people getting shot in the head either. Yeah, maybe I'll avoid that. I don't need to, uh, scar these children. Brandy Marie says, good morning. Sorry I can't participate in your full podcast. Just have lots to do in the morning. Don't apologize, Brandy. I love it that you watch these shows. So yeah, what else do I have to say about Prayer Day? It always makes me think of boarding schools because they came up with these terms for each of the days. You can almost, calling something the prayer day, the floor washing day, the first day, the second day, the halfway day, fourth day, fifth day. That's what the Ojibwe called their days of the week. But I think they were just mapping the days of the boarding school week. And it makes me wonder, what was the week like before European, brought their calendar and their days of the week? Because they definitely had seasons. We know that from the months of the year. They marked the calendar days somehow. They knew what time of year it was, and they would know what time of day it was based on the sun and stuff. And, but, what did they call? Did they have a prayer day, or was it every day prayer day? Probably every day was. So, yeah, next week is going to be the big Ontario gig, and I'll probably play some songs. It'll be another hour and a half show. I also have to, sometimes my stories can get kind of dark. Like last week when we were talking about the migration story. And it's a sweet story that everyone's heard up until they get to northern Minnesota where they discover wild rice. And the prophecy is fulfilled that you'll come to a place where food grows on the water. And, but then NANABOOZHOO goes into a whole chapter of how there were Dakota here already, and how the Dakota were eating their own dogs. And because the Dakota also have a ceremony. And I have nothing against the Dakota. In fact, my grandmother was a Dakota. And Flandreau Boarding School was in Dakota territory, I have family members who are not Ojibwe. But I think for a lot of Ojibwe people, the idea of some of the Dakota ceremonies were sort of harsh. Like the Hunkpapa, I think they're called. There's a ceremony where you boil a puppy. And you're supposed to swing it around so many times and then drop it into boiling hot water. And, it's just so hard to be accepting of all cultures when you go, what? What kind of world are you living in where you got to kill a live puppy in such a way for a religious thing? Hey, Richard's here. BOOZHOO, Richard. Coffee's very good. I'm just talking about Hunkpapasu ceremonies of torturing and killing puppies. And then also I was reminded of the Sundance ceremony. I've met a few people, Sioux guys, who have done Sundance. And if you don't know what that is, it's a pretty hardcore summer ceremony where people pierce their flesh with hooks. And we'll have an eagle whistle. Oh, there we go, Migazy. Eagle whistle. And you can either fall backwards from a tree or a large pole, or you can dance in a circle with stuff off your back, dragging in the dirt until it rips through. Well, to the, to the gentle Ojibwe people, we're like coasting around in our little canoes, and they come across the Dakota, and so they have this big battle in Red Lake. And the story is that Red Lake was named after this battle, and that so much blood was shed that the lake ran red with blood. And you go, okay, wait a second. That sounds like something out of a movie because, number one, who fights in a lake? I mean, what did they storm the beach like Normandy in their little canoes? And then everybody just fought hand to hand with knives in the swimming area? And what was it called before? It was called Red Lake then. You know, was the day before it called Pleasant Lake or Sunshine, Glimmering Waters, you know, whatever. And then they have this one battle that kills so many people that they decide, you know, from now on, when we go fishing, we're going to call this place Red Lake. So we can never forget that day Grandpa was murdered, you know. So I don't think that's why Red Lake's called that. I think Red Lake was called Red Lake because it was had red cedars around it. So Red Lake in Ojibwe is Gamisqua Wapka. No, it's not. Gamisqua Gamiwi Zagat-Yaganing. Misqua Gamiwi would be like Red Lake, a red lake. But it's not like that lake even has like pipestone or anything. I think it's got to be because of the trees. Because then Leech Lake is Ga-Zagasqua Jamaicog. Or that's Leech. Okay, so leeches are Zagasqua Jamay. But Cass Lake is Ga-Misqua-Wa-Kogog. Misqua-Wa-Kogog. Lake of the Red Cedars, Misqua. So I think it was called Red Lake because of the red cedars. Anyway, that's a long way of telling not that funny of a story. Oh, but maybe I can avoid some of the... There's kind of an edge to that story that disrespects Dakota people. Jessica says, sounds like the dog festival that they still have in China. Yeah. I mean, okay. It pushes... It makes me have to define... Why is it okay to kill chickens if it's not okay to kill dogs? It's like, I don't know. It just feels different because they're not as cute. Maybe that's the law of nature. The cuter you are, the more you survive. And the same should be this in humans too. Yeah, there's just something that rubs my intolerance bone when it comes to killing dogs. Same thing with cats. How do you guys feel about medical experiments on animals? You know, the reason they choose rats, they'll say, oh, you know, they're close to our, you know, anatomy for some reason. But I think mostly it's that people are so grossed out by rats, they don't mind the idea that, oh, we're going to poke some needles in their eyeballs. See what that teaches us. Brandy Marie says, what does it mean if I want to text something and it won't let me post? It was about some of your topics of yesterday's show. After the show, when I have to save the video, for some reason they make me mark that it's for children. I got flagged when I was talking about the rotating sky. And since that time, every time after the show's done, I have to hit this button that asks, is this show for children? If I say, no, it's not for children, I can't save it. So I don't think it shows the messages, the chat after when it's no longer live. And then you can't comment. Oh, it just happened. Oh, I don't know. Let me check. You're going to talk about something before. I don't see anything on my end that's obvious. Was your text longer than 200 words? Jessica asks. Yeah, I have to be honest too. When I get long messages in email or whatever, I kind of go, oh, okay, I'm going to come back and read that. And then, you know, if it's 3 paragraphs long, I don't just want to write back a short, hey, good point. But then sometimes I never get back to the message because it's no longer highlighted. And like 3 weeks ago by, I went, doggone it, I never replied to whoever. But yeah, so yeah, people eat dogs. You know, is the only moral living to be a vegan? You know, how come nobody likes vegans? Brandy says, "Oh wow, didn't think so, but I was rambling." Okay, yeah, I guess if it's over 200 words, that's the thing for anyone else watching. All right. Well, we're just about running out of time, so I kind of want to let Natasha come out and kind of send us off for the day. I want to wish you all a very happy prayer day. And let's go see what Natasha's up to. Natasha, do you want to come say hello?
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right.
Why don't you pick me up? Carry me over. You know, like you do. Woo, you're so strong.
Yeah, well, you know, I like to work out. You could probably tell from my huge biceps.
I know. How did you get such big biceps?
Well, I like to lift 10-pound weights at least, I don't know, once or twice a month. And I like to do, you know, maybe 20 reps.
That's not much at all. Oh, gee, my voice. BOOZHOO! How you doing, everybody? What's going on, sisters? Yeah, so I just wanted to drop in, say, you know, BOOZHOO. See how the ladies are doing? Love. So, yeah, relationships are hard, but in the end, they're the only thing you're going to be thinking about, you know. They say nobody on their deathbed wishes they'd spend more time in the office. Unless, of course, you were in love with the secretary. But yeah, I think, you know, we learn so much about ourselves in a relationship. They're really like a mirror to all your vulnerabilities and all that. But I also think when you fall in love, you know, it's kind of like, I mean, I know this sounds hokey, but it's sort of like, you know, something in your soul connects. It is like you're finding your soulmate. I don't even believe in soulmates, but that's what I think, you know, falling in love is. I don't know. Brandy Marie, good morning, Brandy. Have you ever been in love? Looking out on the morning rain. I used to feel so uninspired. That's what it is. This is why, like, you know, you think about, you know, we know every musician is a hopeless romantic. Because they're always singing about falling out of love, or falling in love, or being betrayed, or, oh, you know, it's always about love. But even like the two-dimensional artists, like that weird old Van Gogh, who couldn't paint very well, he cut his ear off and gave it to a girl he liked. He thought that would help. He was like, oh, I really like you. I cut my ear off. Here, would you be my girlfriend? You could have this bloody ear. So then when I'm not around, you'll always have someone to talk to. That's what Van Gogh did. And everyone's, oh, he was a genius. Yeah, really? Do you think that's what a genius does? I don't know. As for me, I don't think that was very bright. So, yeah. Well, looks like that's all the time we have for today. That hour went by really quick. I want to say, Gisagain, I love you. Miigwech Ganawabieg, thank you for watching. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, Neeman Waindam, Omanungum. Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll be back tomorrow at 6. And I'll see you then. Hope you have a great day. Now I don't want to say goodbye because I'm feeling sad. BOOZHOO, Gigawabamin, Minowa. I will see you again. Oh. And then they're going to say, do you really want to Yeah, I want to end stream. Are you sure? Well, now I'm not so sure.